Everyone. Today I want to talk about something very important in my life, how I practice English every day. Many people think that learning English is only about grammar or vocabulary, but from my experience, learning English is more about consistency, patience and courage. It is not a one-day transformation, it is a long journey, and today I want to say how this journey looks in my daily life. First of all, English practice begins with a simple decision, a decision that you will continue learning even when the process feels slow. Many learners stop practice because they expect fast result, but language learning does not work like that. Progress happen quietly. Sometimes you do not even notice the improvement until months later. That is why discipline is more important than motivation. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline keeps you moving forward. One of the first things I try to do is expose myself to English every day, like listening, extremely powerful. I listen to English conversation, interview, podcasts, or sometimes movies, not because I understand every word, but because the brain slow becomes familiar with the rhythm of the language. And language is not only words, language is sound, tone, and expression. The more you listen, the more you natural it becomes. So another important part of my practice is speaking. Even when I feel uncomfortable, many students wait for the perfect moment to speak English. They wait until they feel confident. They wait until their grammar become perfect. But the truth is, confidence does not come before speaking. Confidence comes after speaking. If you wait for confidence first, you might wait forever. So I try to speak even when I make mistake. Mistakes are not enemies in language learnings. They are a teach. Every mistake saw something that can improve. Sometimes I practice by talking to myself. It might sound strange, but it actually very effective. I describe my day, I explain my thoughts. For example, I might say, today I'm feeling a little tired, but I still want to practice English because consistency is important. So this type of self-conversation trains the brain to think in English, and thinking in English is the key rule to fluency. Another habit that helps me is reading aloud. When I read something in English, I try to read slow and clearly. This improves pronunciation. It also helps the brain connect with written language and spoken language. So that's why something I read articles, maybe newspapers, sometimes I read books. All time I try loudly. Even reading simple paragraph can improve fluency over time. So the goal is not speed, the goal is clarity and comfort. So written is also an important part of practice. When you write, you organize your thought more carefully. Writing helps you notice grammar, pattern, and sentence structure. Sometimes I write about my day, sometimes I write about ideas, goal, or experience. And writing forces you to think more deeply about language, and this strengthens your understanding. Another lesson I have learned is that comparison can destroy motivation. When learning English, it is easy to compare yourself with others. You see people who speak fluently, you hear accent that sound perfect, and suddenly you feel behind. But every learner has a different starting point. Every learner has a different journey. The only comparison that matter is between who you were yesterday and who you are today. If you improve even a little bit, that is progress. Sometimes the journey feel frustrating. You study vocabulary but forget it later. You understand English when it's listening but struggling while speaking. So you feel like progress is slow. These moments are normal, and language learning is not a straight line. Some days feel productive, other days feel confusing, but every effort still contributes to improvement. So even when you cannot see it immediately, another important idea is that fluency grows from exposure and not perfection. So perfection is unrealistic. Even native speaker make mistake. What matter more is communication. If people understand your idea, your English is already working. Fluency is about expressing thoughts clearly, not speaking without mistake. Over time, sometime interesting begins to happen. Word come faster, sentence become easier, speaking become less stressful. The mind start forming ideas directly in English, and this transformation is gradual. So if learning English also changes confidence, not only in language but in life. When you practice speaking in your language, you train courage, you train practice, you train patience, you train resilience. These qualities are useful for beyond language. So learning for me, English practice is not only about education, it is also about growth. It is about expanding opportunities. So it's about connecting with the world. And language is a bridge, and every day of practice build that bridge a little stronger. So if you are learning English right now, remember this. Do not focus only on how far you still need to go. Look at how far you have already come. Every day of effort matters. Every attempt to speak matters. Every small improvement matters. The journey might feel slow, but slow progress is still progress. So if you continue practice, the result will eventually appear. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week. So keeping learning, keeping speaking, and keeping try to speak in front of society, student, because one day you will look back and realize that all those small daily practice create a powerful change, and that change is starting with one simple decision, the decision to practice even single day. So thank you so much for listening. We will meet again next blog. Thank you so much.